Hey guys.
What's up, everybody? Let me get us centered here. Good.
All right. Well, we're here to talk about the Matrix Code and it's the truth alternative, the alternative
Yeah,
truth.
what is that
We're
called?
coming up with a name for that, but basically the truth of who we are, the expansive, free truth that is at once all of ours and unique to each of us. So we started a thread in the community yesterday, which many of you might have seen, about the Matrix Code, and this is basically the programming that we all grew up with. A lot of the phrases you hear over and over again, they're just accepted to be the truth, that we were basically told to be the truth, and that many of us, myself included certainly, are still trying to like disentangle myself from because they still feel so powerfully the truth, even though I know them not to be the truth. So we got some really good engagement yesterday around this, which was so cool. Thanks, guys. Like we really are excited to make this more of a community and engage together. And we've been playing with this idea of the matrix and different ways to help people extract themselves from it and find their own truth and find their expansive, free, infinite selves. And we have a few projects, we're working on around that. So we had this idea to engage you guys around developing sort of like what do we call it?
Like a dictionary,
A dictionary,
basically,
yeah.
of how this program is passed on generation to generation to generation. What are the phrases? What are the messages that we receive, particularly when we're younger, that kind of create this confining effect, this kind of mind prison that many people live in, and that spirituality is now necessary to extract us from. So yesterday's post just kind of blew us away. I just compiled all of the shares. There's probably 150 different phrases that were shared in that thread, and I probably heard 100 of them. And that's a lot. That's a lot to be exposed to. A lot of negativity, a lot of contraction, a lot of limitation. That is built in. It's built in, and I have such compassion for my parents for, they received the same message, and that my grandparents received the same message. And you can just feel the momentum in these words and these phrases. And so what we want to do is bring these to light, like expose them for what they are, and then offer an alternative to create conversation about how we can kind of like talk more clearly, more from a place of abundance and excitement and expansion.
One of the things I thought was so amazing is that some of our friends and folks in the community from other countries had different like versions of basically the exact same contracting belief that that are just being passed around. They were the slightly different words, but the exact same thing. And me too about my parents. Gosh, my father really believed some of these things so powerfully.
Yeah.
He lived by them with a lot of pride, I think. And that was the way it was for him. And I'm really grateful that we can step back from this and have a more expansive knowing of who we really are, and that we can play a part in helping others to free themselves from this narrative that's just not true.
Totally not true. So our thinking right now is what we want to do is, so we've kind of branded this side of the ledger, if you will, as the Matrix Code. And now we're first sort of playing with some ideas about what to call it's not really a program. That's kind of where we get tripped up. It's not really a program. It's more about just, revealing the truth. But sounds of truth, voices of truth, these are kind of memes we're playing around with.
The truth revealed, the truth remembered. We've been like tossing around the truth all morning. Like what's the opposite of the Matrix Code other than the truth, but we want it to
maybe it's the truth.
Be, stand in a way that rings with people, that really resonates and can that rings with people the way the Matrix does. Not everyone may be conscious of the Matrix, but everyone has an idea of what that is. And so touching people back into the truth of who they are, the infinite truth. So anyway, we've been playing with these ideas, but we had an idea this morning, which, we've been wanting to generate some media around this topic of Exit the Matrix and what the Matrix is. And we thought if maybe some of the people who shared, or totally new people too watching this, and you didn't share anything yesterday, might be willing and interested in sharing like short videos of yourself saying these matrix codes, like stay in line, don't talk back to me, do what you're told, all those kind of things, whatever they were for you, whatever the strongest one was, the most powerful one or ones few were for you, say them in the tone they were given to you, say them in the way you hear them in your head still. So many of us share this because, like Stephen said, this code has been passed down and down and down and shared and passed down. So when you can see it, when you hear other people say it, I find that it's powerful in spiritual communities I've been a part of. When I hear other people talk about the narrative in their head, it loosens the grip of the one in my head because I see that it's a program, that it's not the truth. Whereas when I just listen to my own head, I sometimes think it's the truth. So we'd love for people to record short videos of themselves saying this and share those if they're willing, if you're willing for us to use these in a short video clip where we would kind of compile these together. And then even better, like together with that, to include a short video of yourself saying what the opposite of that is, or what the truth is, and you may have like 50 phrases that are the matrix code and even have one phrase that's what the truth of who you are now or what you know yourself to be. But it could be the opposite of, the truth of the opposite of the matrix code that you stated.
That's something really, really connected with you. Think into like what would be what's the opposite of this, or actually, what's the true reflection of what's kind of thematically embedded in this phrase? How can we create better discussion, conversation, messaging? And it's really prevalent for us because we have a 2-year-old. She catches on quickly. She understands everything. She's like digesting things she's got new words by the hour. It's spectacular. So we're really present to like, what are we communicating? What is the vibration of what we're communicating? What are the words? What are the messages? And so kind of the end product to this would probably be a 2-minute video with different people sort of saying in the tone of voice of like, stay in line, whatever it may be. And then probably spliced in with various kind of more voiceover type messages, and then the new sounds, the new voices, the messages that are really abundant and empowering. And
the vibration behind those messages, get tuned in, kind of be there for a moment with what you now know to be the truth and the power and the expansiveness of that. And sharing that vibration is just like, it's palpable, the difference between those things. Like when you start to wake up, you feel the difference between the contraction of the falsehood that you've believed and the truth you've always known but didn't know. You can just feel the expansive joy, ease in those words.
If this is interesting to you, share below. I mean, we'd like to just kind of collect a roster of people who are like, yeah, I'm into this. I'd love to do that. That sounds really useful, of service and fun and exciting, and certainly exciting to us. I think this kind of appeared to you this morning, this idea of a video.
In meditation.
Brilliant.
It was
such
cool.
a great idea.
It was cool. Yeah.
So yeah, we're I think the next step is to sort of just get a sense of people into this. So kind of give us maybe if you're up for it. Like one of my favorite things to do is to post fun GIFs. So below this video, maybe post either a "yeah, I'm in" or like some ridiculous GIF that exposes your level of excitement for this idea.
Should people post their videos to this thread or to?
We'll probably do that. I think we'll initiate
thread?
That later. I think what we'll do for now is we're going to come up with. We have like 150 of these matrix code phrases. We got to whittle that down maybe to.
Some of them are repetitive versions of the same thing, so we can.
And maybe we can come up with like a list of those and a list of some new ways of communicating, some new messages that we can then kind of have contrasted and people can play with one and another so that it's really organized that way. But for now, we'd love to know if you're into this. Is this exciting? Do you have feedback? Do you have ideas? How would you, what kind of label, what sort of hashtag, if you will, would you put onto the new messages? That's something we're thinking about a lot. And I would think that probably early in the week, we'll start the discussion about those new messages in the Ownstream community and come and generate a bunch of things like that. Then we'll move into producing a video. How does that sound?
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of front and center for us. On the heels of that, there's a few projects we're working on. Lots to come on this, but an Exit the Matrix course that we're going to reveal probably in a few weeks or so, where we guide people through the process of leaving, completely transforming their lives based on the principles that we're interested in, kind of exploring with these new messages. But we also want to do so in a very experiential, dynamic, vibrant way. I've been involved in all sorts of video training courses online. Teresa has too. And we really want to kind of explore new ways of training and teaching and supporting and guiding and leading using the internet. So this is a lot of fun for us. We're thinking of all kinds of crazy missions and fun activities and challenges and things like that to get people really just flexing muscles that they haven't used before, or that are really outside the box. It's just kind of having to do something ridiculous. It suddenly unlocks their mind. Like, oh my God, there really is, all these limits are completely self-imposed. They're not real. Because
ultimately too, I mean, I took some courses before, really great, I mean, good courses. But when I only was kind of in my room writing about things, I didn't quite have the courage to make any changes. One of the things that these experiential missions do, I think, is that when you're stepping out, you start to have the courage to actually make change in your life. And then you also experience what it feels like to do that, and to contrast that with the prison that you actually are in but don't recognize as a prison, or have a vague idea, enough of an idea it's a prison to be in the program, but not to really get yourself out of it. And so we really want to work with people who really want to get out of the matrix and change their lives. And we want it to be really fun and experiential, so that the change is made while the program is happening, basically.
Yeah, one of my favorite phrases about seeing yourself is like, sometimes you can't see the movement of the river until you put a stick in it. So we're going to be throwing sticks in your river all the time. So that's number one. That's coming up, and this is all this conversation about exit the matrix and kind of creating new language around, real principles that are spiritual principles that are true, are kind of leading up to that, because we're really excited to kind of work with some people and hopefully pioneer a new way of working with others using the internet. We have some other stuff too.
We've talked about in another video about our projects that we're working on. Yeah. So the Exit the Matrix program is the most current thing, but we're also working on the Great Awakening Theater project, and a little bit more on the back burner, because we think a lot of that content's going to develop out of the Exit the Matrix program, or the Epic Awakening Adventures here in Costa Rica or beyond. So those are, a bunch of things we're working on right now. So
yeah, it's exciting. Really, really fun. Well, I think that's it for this broadcast. I will put, by the way, in the first link below, a link to the thread where all these, the Matrix code, where that conversation took place. You can easily get at that and read it. And if you have things to add, please do. That would be great to hear from people, because I was blown away by how much people had to share. I was like, oh my God, this is really, there's a lot of messaging you receive through the course of particularly the formative years as a youngster, which create this notion of what the world is, what reality is, that then regenerates itself, because we are the creators. So it's been hijacked. The truth has been hijacked by this code. So we want to free ourselves from that, and to have this discussion about new messages is so useful and so helpful. So I'll post a link to that below. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. Just do it. It'd be fun to have you guys participate, because it's really exciting to see people engaging, and we want this to be a co-creation, and we want the code. We want to hear the code that you have in your head too.
Yeah, particularly for people all around the world that have different dialects and accents. Would be very interesting to really show that this is a worldwide phenomenon. This is not English speaking necessarily. So Frank, we see you. Thank you for your thumbs up, Gail. Callie, thanks for being with us. Rama, Lisa, Dave, Nick, everybody else. Lots of love to you guys. Thanks for being with us, and continue the discussion below. We'll be around.
Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.